photographing the way I do, but with my colors, this will change everything.
I got to see each frame, each position of its wing, and they're so beautiful that I have never seen before.
Being able to move quickly and working at my brain's pace and getting those shots in the moment. Having this camera allows you to go out and create the way you want to create.
Until you use it, you cannot even imagine what you have missed.
It's something I've never seen before in my entire life. It's something totally different.
Nikon Z6 III. Outperform.
Introducing ISO Color Edge. Precision is essential for any professional working with images. Whether you're an artist, a retoucher, or a visual effects specialist, you need to know that what you see at the start of a project is precisely what you'll get at the end. Color Edge monitors give consistent, reliable accuracy that guarantee no surprises within your color workflow. So what you see in real life is what you see on screen, and what you see on screen is what you see in real life. That's precisely why professionals all over the world trust ISO Color Edge for their image creation. ISO Color Edge. Discover living, breathing color.
I'm Mark Rizzetto from the Professional Photography Business Network.
A vibrant community from all around the world who's here to supercharge your business growth.
This is not an expensive one-size-fits-all course.
PPBN is a network,
an online educational platform with training and resources to suit everyone.
from those just starting out to the seasoned pros.
You can tailor your journey to suit your individual business needs and challenges, all at your own pace.
And there's new content added every week. But success is only part of the experience.
To us, community is super important, as we all know business can be lonely.
So join us today. PPBN is your unfair advantage. Let's do this.
Hi everyone, I'm Kelly Brown. I am very, very excited to be here judging the newborn category for the 2026 Australian Photographic Prize. I'm your panel mentor for this session, so thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoy seeing some wonderful newborn images being judged today. I'm here today on behalf of our competition director, Daniel Bingham, and our director of judging, Chris Anderson. Behind the scenes, we also have Nathan, our broadcast producer, and Daniel, our scribe. So let's move on to our sponsors. I'd like to thank Nikon Australia for awarding our overall Australian winner with a Nikon product valued at $5,000. And thank you to AZO for also providing the Australian runner-up prize of a Color Edge CS2731 monitor valued at $2,000. And our overall international winner will win a 12-month membership to the Professional Photographers Business Network valued at $1,000. So thank you to PPBN. Today we're here to judge the top 35 images in the newborn category. Our rules state that images need to showcase a newborn through posed or candid portraits, artistic compositions, and creative styling. And post-production is open. If you want to read more about our rules for this particular category and any other category, you can go to the Australian Photographic Prize.com.au website for more information regarding that. In today's session, our expert panel of judges will assess each image. They're going to score each image out of 100 with a comment for each of those images submitted. And in some cases, a challenge where we discuss the images in more detail and then rescore the images will happen. When our session is complete, the next stage is closed door judging, where the panel determines the winner from the highest scoring images by a secret ballot. Our winner, second place and third place Australian images, along with the winning international image, will be revealed at our live awards ceremony on August 13th, so make sure you join us for that. In a moment, I'll introduce you to our judging panel for today, but first, let's have a look at the top 35 images in the newborn category. Thanks, Daniel. Wow, this is going to be a great category. So let's meet our judges in our judging panel today. So, drawn from Australia and internationally, starting with Emily Black.
Hello, I'm Emily. I am from Melbourne, Victoria. I have a career spanning about 25 something years in the industry. And I love newborn because I love the stories that can be told and the innocence and the sweetness and the emotion that comes through in that, and the parameters of which that can cross. You know, it can be candid or very set up. So that's very beautiful, and I'm very excited to be judging this again.
Thanks, Emily. And next we have Faru Yavari.
Hello, everyone. My name is Furu. I'm like Emily from Melbourne, Australia. I'm a full-time fine art portrait and fashion photographer. I started my photography business in 2011 in Brisbane. And 2015, I started to entering many awards. I remember 2015, it was when I was in WPPI that Kelly Brown had a master class in newborn photography. And that's how I really drawn to this genre of photography. And I learned so much from her. Thank you, Kelly. And I did newborn photography for 7 and 8 years. And what really draws me to this category is emotional impact of this genre, and also how they documenting it, the unique way of presenting, the whole difficulty in posing and creativity in props, and all of it. It makes me excited. I'm so looking forward to see your images.
Thank you, Faru. I remember meeting you back at WPPI that year, like it was yesterday. Next, we have James Musselwhite.
Hi, I'm James. I'm a portrait photographer from Portsmouth over here in the UK. These days, I photograph mainly oiled up men and women in my studio in a series of takeover shoots where we empower people through our photography. But in a previous life, I was a family and newborn photographer, and to date I've shot in excess of 3,500 newborn portraits. In fact, in 2012, my first award was with a newborn portrait, and it gave me my first title, which was Baby Photographer of the Year for the MPA Wessex region, which is a now defunct region of the United Kingdom. I do remember, however, the buzz that I got from winning that first award, especially as a newborn photographer, and I remember the buzz of telling the parents that their child was an award-winning model. So I'm looking forward to seeing all of the images today that are from upcoming, aspiring photographers, some of whom may have entered their awards for the first time. Thank you.
Thank you, James. Next, we have Katrina Ferguson.
Thanks, Kelly. Hi, everybody. I'm based in Melbourne as well. Lots of Melbourne gals tonight. Love it. I'm a mother of 3, so I've certainly spent a lot of time documenting my own babies and children as they grow. And I've worked as a photographer for about 17 years, and I've been floating around the Australian awards scene for about 20 years. And I really appreciate the newborn category because I feel like sometimes it's underestimated, I think, or undervalued perhaps. So I think it's a really wonderful chance for us to celebrate, you know, the technical skill, the creativity, the storytelling, all those beautiful things, in this one spot. That's I'm really excited to dive in.
Thank you so much, Katrina. Next, we have Lacey Barrett.
Hello, and thank you so much. My name is Lacey Barrett. I am from Melbourne as well, and I've been photographing for over a decade now, and newborn is where I started. It is my first love, and although I am documenting babies in birth, I do still document newborns and maternity and families, and it is such a joyous moment in humanity. And there's so many stories that you're able to tell, as everyone else has said. And I think that that is one of the things that we're drawn to so much in newborn is all of the different creative ways that we can tell stories. So I'm excited to be here and excited to see everyone's images. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Lacey. Next, we have Mark Rosetto.
G'day everyone, originally from Melbourne, but now in sunny Queensland, and it's winter and I had to put my aircon on. But as a family newborn photographer, we're photographing about 200 newborn babies per year. It is a tricky skill, and hats off to anybody who's photographing newborns. It took me until I had my own baby to realize how just ridiculously challenging it was. It was a steep learning curve. But I did get my first ever gold award with a newborn shot. So ching, that was awesome. And I'm looking forward to tonight to see what you photographed. It's always exciting. You know, there's only so many things you can do with a newborn baby, but at the end of the day, every year it just gets better and better and better. So I'm looking forward to this. Let's bring it on.
All right. Thanks, Mark. And now we have Naomi Ryder. Thanks, Naomi.
Thank you, Kelly. Hi, everyone. I'm Naomi Ryder. I'm a family wedding and portrait photographer, and I'm from Sydney. And I have been very fortunate to have had my work acknowledged with a few awards through quite a few years, including winning and placing in several Australian International Family Photographer of the Year titles. Family genres are definitely where my photographic heart lies. I've spent probably about 20 years photographing some very tiny and not so tiny humans from all walks of life. And every one of these is actually, I find, a true honour to be able to do this for families. And I'm super, super excited to be on this judging panel and having a look at some amazing newborn images this evening. So thank you for having me.
We have an incredible judging panel, and a lot of them very, very modest as well, very humble, because they have earned their stripes as family and portrait photographers throughout the years. So we have a wealth of knowledge here ready to be shared. I am Kelly Brown, your panel mentor. I've been doing this for quite a while. My very first baby, who is now 23, was the reason I picked up a camera, because as a newborn, I just didn't want to miss a second as a mum. And that's what led me on this incredible journey. I've had the privilege of working with thousands of photographers all over the world when it comes to learning the art of newborn posing. So for me, being able to be on this panel with this judging team means more than you could imagine, because watching this category grow over the years and evolve to what it is truly amazing. So thank you to everyone that entered. And for those of you watching that didn't enter, you know, maybe this might be a little bit of encouragement for you to submit next year, because we do love seeing your work, and you know what? You never know. All right, so thank you to our online audience for tuning in and joining us to celebrate and experience this category and photography. And don't forget to tune in to our awards ceremony, on Thursday, the 13th of August, for the announcement of all the winners. Thank you so much to everyone. Let's get started. All right, I am going to assign some judges, and we are ready for our very first image.
Good evening. This image is entitled Orbit.
All right, thank you, judges. We have a score of 79. And could I please get a comment from Katrina?
Absolutely. Yeah, this has been beautifully done. I particularly enjoyed the pairing of the title with the image. That's been very well done. And the circular presentation, and the babies themselves are beautiful. They've been very well posed, delicate, nice connection, and a great choice of presenting this in black and white. Perhaps what would elevate this further might be some storytelling elements, perhaps, so that we can get to know a little bit more about these babies and their story, their family.
Thank you so much, Katrina. Let's have our next image, please.
Her kingdom awaits. She'll get to it.
All right, thank you, judges. We have a highly commended score of 78. If I could get a comment from you, please, James.
Yep, the place is 78, right, and highly commended. It's a really good use of light source for this subject, just coming in from the right hand side, and it's been well controlled throughout across the face, giving us good tonality. I felt there were just some changes that could be made to composition and to set dressing that may just push it up into the next level. There's sort of even space above and below, but we're slightly to the right hand side with the prop, and the props turn slightly and not quite symmetrical in the frame, so everything just feels a little bit off kilter. I appreciate the use of the wrap at the bottom and the rug underneath the chair in terms of the color harmony of the image, but have they been used with enough refinement to push us into silver, to push us into the next level? Investigate looking at a square crop with this sort of image. It would sit really, really well within a square crop and really tie into the title almost as this sense of regalness. But we can certainly control light, we can certainly control posing. We just need those little changes to attention to detail to push it into the next level.
Thank you so much, James. James. Get it right, Kelly. All right, we're going to do a quick judge change. Thank you, Emily. And we're going to bring on Mark. Let's have our next image, please.
This image has no title.
Thank you, judges. We have a score of 77, a highly commended. And Farouk, can I get a comment from you, please?
Of course. I really enjoy the subtle of the color palette, and I think the overall propping around the baby is very well chosen and complement the story. Perhaps if the baby turned more towards the light, we had a more beautiful light coming through the source of a light to her face, or and it would be enhance the beauty of this little baby.
So much. Great feedback. All right, let's do another quick change. Thank you, Faru. And let's bring Naomi on. And we're ready for our next image.
First, look at the world.
Thank you, judges. We have a score of 78. Highly commended. Are we happy with that? All right, let's have a comment from Katrina, please.
Yeah, this is a really, it's a challenging environment shooting Caesars for that really hot light that's on Bubs and Mum, and this has been nicely controlled, well done. What would elevate it? There's just a bit of motion blur going on with their eyes, with the baby's face in general, but they're certainly really interesting, engaging expression. So very well done for capturing that. And our eye is. My eye is certainly a bit distracted by this this jutting out. I don't know if it's the bandage or instrument, whatever, at the base of the image. And maybe for awards, always keep in mind cropping, because that can really elevate things. So have a look at it in an oval, perhaps.
Thank you. Great feedback. All right, let's do another quick judge change. Thank you, James. And we are going to bring back on Emily. Let's have our next image, please.
The space she left behind.
Thank you, judges. We have a silver award and 80. Well done. Can I get a comment, please, from Naomi?
Sorry, I'm having trouble unmuting. Thank you, Kelly. Such a really quite a probably heart-wrenching little story here. It's been beautifully told and beautifully balanced, and a real celebration of the little life that is there pictured on the right-hand side, which is just gorgeous. I think perhaps maybe to elevate this little bit more, maybe the highlights on the wrap and the baby's face are maybe just a little bit harsh. So perhaps just softening that off a little bit, and possibly even just tightening up the crop just so that the circles are positioned sort of central in the frame rather than just slightly down, would definitely lift this a little higher.
All right, thank you for your feedback. And we'll do another quick judge change. We keep our judges rotating here. And thank you, Faru. Hang on 2 seconds. Thank you, Naomi. Sorry, we're going to bring Faru back on. Let's have our next image, please.
The whole world in one hand.
You're on mute, Kelly.
So sorry, now it's my turn. Thank you, judges. We have a silver award of 83 and we have a challenge from Emily on 87. Take it away.
Okay, this image is presented, this is a newborn category. It's an image that's presented to us in a different way, and it's telling us so much. It's handled beautifully. Like, the post-production on this is stunning. The lighting on this is beautiful. It's the kind of print that you would want, you know, it would look fantastic large on the wall. But the reason I went up, and this could be like, this is a legitimate thing that has been left in there, that little freckle on the thumb of that hand, okay, it looks like a teeny tiny little heart. And that's what brought it a little bit higher for me, because when you look and you find that little nugget that's in there, that just holds me, and that's what pushed me into that next award range. It hasn't been taken out as a distraction. It's been left there intentionally. The category where that could have been removed, it definitely is worth revisiting.
All right. Thank you, Emily. Mark, can I get a comment from you, please?
Absolutely. I appreciated the uniqueness of this image. There's a few things that just kept me in that highly commended. It's just the execution of the cleanliness of taking note in a category that you can make adjustments. Behind the hand, the finger is that white spot. Behind the knuckle of the finger is all this black material mess behind it. So in terms of just the cleanliness of the background, for me, was something that white spot just winds me up. It just, I don't know why it's there. In terms of the focus points, like, there's so much, like, you can argue both ways, in and out of focus. The toes are in focus, things are out of focus, but the detail's there. So I'm kind of like much in a muchness. That little hair on the hand is just kind of like, I understand that hands have hair on it because, like, the knuckle has a hair on it, but like growing out of the hand, it looks just a distracting element. So it's really just concept wise, absolutely, like, it's really cool. In terms of just like finessing wise, that's just where it's got me. So it's commended. It's a great concept. It's a clear intent, but I just don't think it's executed enough to go as high into silver distinction, but I'm willing to come up a bit.
All right. Thanks, Mark. Katrina, can I get a comment from you, please?
You may, absolutely. Yeah, I'm currently sitting on 83, and I'm absolutely listening, Emily. I'm prepared to move. Convince me. But this has immediate impact, and yet it is incredibly simple, but it tells a story. It's been very well put together in terms of so simple, but it's still quite sort of artful and creative. And the fingers, how they sort of splay around the toes like that in like a Fibonacci spiral. I really enjoyed that as well. So, and how bold the thumb is right in the center there. So I think for something that is so simple, but it still tells a story. And Emily, I also saw the love heart, which I appreciated. And I actually, Mark, I really like that it's been left, excuse me, quite organic. I appreciate those tiny little elements that you're talking about and how they can be annoying, but I only really am drawn to them when I go in and I pixel peep. And I think this piece, yeah, I'm happy to forgive those.
All right, thanks, Katrina. Emily, your right of reply, please.
Thanks for the comments. Mark, I want to address, I'm not going higher than silver with distinction. I'm not going into that top tier of category, but I believe that this is definitely executed in a way that is higher than silver. It has been well thought through. It has been deliberately displayed to us in a way, and the caption itself works in beautifully. Like Katrina said, the spiral, the Fibonacci spiral, it's like it leads us in, we keep coming back. The whole world, the fingerprints, we can see the fingerprints and we can see the toe prints. It's just that execution to detail is definitely worth something higher than a silver. I think it's worth considering going into that next category, please.
All right, judges. Thank you so much, Emily. If you could keep your score at 87, and when you're ready, judges, please re-enter your scores. We have a silver with distinction, an 85. Thank you so much, judges. Great feedback, and I know the entrant is going to be very happy. All right, let's do another quick change. Thanks, Katrina. And we're going to bring Naomi back on, and let's have our next image, please.
I have questions.
Thank you, judges. We have a highly commended score of 79. Are we happy with that? We have a challenge from Faru on 83. Go for it.
Yeah, I give it solid silver, 83. I think it's when the image comes, it's just bring a smile on my face. It's really like I have questions, and I can see it in his in the baby's eyes. The wrapping is perfectly handled. The black and white is perfectly handled in this concept, and also the refinement, all the details is very precise, and that's the reason I thought it really sits in a silver, solid silver. And I love to hear you guys.
All right, thank you, Faru. Mark, can I get a comment from you, please?
Yes, expression wise, tick, 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 like super cool expression. Quality of light just coming from underneath just throws me off completely. If we could have the same expression with a different, just that light, you can see the catch lights in the eye. It's really up the nose there. So that's what's kind of getting me. I'm on the highly commended as a sound technique and clear intent. The family would absolutely love this, but from an expression, awesome. To elevate it further, oval mat. I'm doing a Katrina here now. Put like maybe an oval mat just to really accentuate those curves.
All right, thanks, Mark. Naomi, you enjoyed this?
Yeah, one of the most rewarding things about photographing newborns is also about capturing little expressions which perhaps give us a little hint to their personality. And I think this is actually a true wonderful example of one of those little moments that can be extremely challenging to get. As we all know, photographing newborns is not always a smooth process. The detail on this is gorgeous. The highlights and shadows and things are not too bold. I think I definitely think that we can sit very comfortably in a silver. I think that it could have definitely been elevated too by, I totally agree with Mark with respect to positioning of the light and also from the angle of the camera. So perhaps coming down where you're not photographing from quite so low and photographing up the baby's nose a little bit. So shooting from a little bit of a higher angle and moving the light or the baby around so that the light's falling down from forehead down. But other than that, I think this is really lovely and a very, very special little moment that's been captured that this family has in their memory to celebrate for always. And who knows what this little person will go on to do in their life. So I think it's definitely worthy of a silver for that reason.
All right. Faru, your right of reply, please.
Thank you so much. We just 1 point away from the silver, so it means we're already sitting on that. I'm really agree with you, Mark. I wish photographer more concerned when the photographer position of the light. I can see it. It's from the bottom. It's not from the up. That's what we are looking for. But because the attention to the details, the perfect of wrapping and posing, and the comfort that baby feels in that spot is not really feel like the baby is uncomfortable. It's pushed to that pose. The expression is bold and everything is subtle on its own way. So for that reason, I believe that it sits in silver. So that's it.
All right, thank you, judges. Faru, if you can keep your score at 83, and judges, when you're ready, please re-enter your scores. And we have a score of 82. Thank you, judges. A silver award. I'm sure the entrant will be very grateful for all of that feedback and encouragement. All right, let's do another quick judge change. Thank you, Lacey. And we are going to bring back James. And we're ready for our next image, please.
This image has no title.
Thank you, judges. We have a highly commended score of 79, and you're all very, very close there. Could I get a comment, please, from James?
Yep, place this right in the middle of highly commended, and I commend the author for an image that makes the baby look like it feels comfortable in this image. A good use of color combinations with the props that have been used. I think in order to move it into the next level, I think we need to refine the lighting and simplify the approach. The lighting in this instance, a little bit harsh. Have a look at that nose, have a look at a specular highlight on that nose, and have a look at the nose shadow, and experiment with potentially different modifications and different ways to light that baby's face to get a smoother, much more even feathered approach to the lighting. And then consider the props. The story here is of a baby asleep, comfortable, cuddling a cute beloved toy. Is the headdress adding to that narrative? Is the blanket over the top helping add to that narrative? I think one of them kind of is, and I think maybe one of them isn't. So experiment with all those things. And sometimes we can try and overload these photographs with prop. And sometimes the most successful images in competitions are the ones that take a more simplistic approach. We're not far away, and if we keep experimenting and keep developing the style, we'll be able to push this into silver range and beyond.
Great feedback. Thank you so much, James. All right, let's have another quick judge change. Thank you, Mark. And we'll bring Katrina back on, and let's have our next image, please.
The smile that stole the silence.
Thank you, judges. We have a highly commended score of 77. And again, you're all relatively close to one another. Kat, can I get a comment from you, please? Katrina, sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you're welcome to call me Kat. Most people do. Yeah, this is a lovely expression on this baby. Well done for capturing that for sure. And I'm actually really enjoying the pairing of the matching of the two fabrics, the blue on the blue and the waffle weave. What held me back a bit with this image is actually the sort of the retouching on the background. It's quite patchy, so it's a little bit splodgy in places, and it's pulling my attention away from where it should be. And in some places it's sharp, and in some places it's quite soft. So just be mindful of that attention to detail, and that will help bring us, keep our focus on where it should be, rather than getting distracted by sort of technical things in the extremities.
All right, great feedback. Thank you. All right, we'll do another quick judge change. Good. Thank you, Emily. And we'll bring Mark back on, keeping our judges nice and fresh. Next image, please.
Baby loss to success.
Thank you, judges. We have a highly commended score of 79. And we have a challenge from James. Thanks, James, on 83.
Placed it towards the higher end of silver. A strong creative image with clear strengths in concept, technique, or impact. Doesn't have to be all three of those things, can just be a couple of those. What I found here was something that's quite difficult to do at times in newborn photography, which is to come up with a clear concept. And that concept leads into a strong narrative. And I believe that it's been really delicately handled, actually. When we look at the circles on the left-hand side, I assume representing failed attempts at successful pregnancies, we see that they slowly descend and fade away as memories and as time passes to the eventual success story at the end. And I felt that the photographer should be rewarded for that clear concept and for that attempt at telling this very sensitive story. And I think it's been really delicately handled and really well handled. We're at 79. I'm really keen to hear everyone else's takes on this, and just to see if we can just nudge it a point just to get it into that silver category.
All right, thanks, James. Faru, you're on 78. Can I get a comment from you, please?
Yes. James, I really love your interpretation of the fading memories at that 2 or 3 circle at the left. I feel like it was my question, why those is just lost the details? Why is fading? I thought maybe it's a post-production error, but explaining that makes sense now. But my concern is the main subject, the baby, which is the posing is not really refined and not comfortable. The head is just tilted, I feel like, too much. The shoulder is coming out. It's like the photographer had listened to the story of the baby and the family, try to come with a unique idea, which is there. The story is there. I agree with you. But the pose, the comfortable of the pose, the prop, the outfits, they are not there. And especially the little toes is so close to the camera, and it's very I think it's kind of, I can zoom at it to see, but it feels like it's more bold, more distracting, more demanding compared to the rest of the image. I'm listening.
Thank you, Faru. Kat, did you have something you would like to add?
Yes, I'm currently on 78, so I'm in highly commended, and totally agree that there is clear intent, no doubt about it. The photographer is definitely telling us a story here, and that has been communicated. What's holding me back a bit, James, if you can help me resolve the buttons, I'm finding really distracting. Like such an important story, and we want to really stay in that narrative, and they're really pulling quite a bit of focus, attention. And then the exact repetition of the wings, like had they been photographed differently or tilted perhaps or something, it feels just very repeat, repeat, stamp, stamp, stamp. So I absolutely think the photographer's done a great job in telling us a story, but to elevate it further, I'd like to see those things resolved.
All right, thank you. James, your right of reply, please.
Fantastic feedback from both partners on my team, especially Kat, as you've allowed us to give me permission to call you now, in terms of the wings and their placement within the frame. They feel a bit stamped on, a bit cloned, right? Had that element been done with refinement, had that been done with an elevated sense of artistry, then I think we might be talking a level above and a level above that. With regards to the posing, to Faro's point, I agree. If we take the circular image on the right and just assess that in competition, I'm with you. Highly commended. Okay, room to improve, things to work on, but we're not. It's part of a narrative. And although there are things within the pose that we can point out that could be improved, overall, it does feel comfortable and it does feel natural. Not been overworked, not been overwrapped, not been overprocessed, not been overposed. This feels like a natural way a baby would sit. And I think that's really, really joyous to celebrate and really, really lovely to see. Circling it round and just bringing it in, I do agree with Kat's point, but I'm not asking to go into those higher elements, which I think a concept like this could sit in. I think the photographer deserves to be rewarded for attempting a storyline and for attempting something different that does display a clear narrative of a sensitive issue. And I think that's something that should be celebrated. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone else's scores.
All right, thank you, judges. James, if you could keep your score at 83, and when you're ready, please re-enter your scores. Thank you, judges. We have a silver award of 82, and I know all of that feedback is going to be very valued by the entrant. So let's go ahead now and do another quick judge change. Thank you, Faru, and we are going to bring back Emily. Let's have our next image, please.
Between moments.
Thank you, judges. We have a score of 75, and you're all within a point of each other. Some feedback, please, Kat, if I can.
Absolutely. This photographer definitely has some creative ideas going on, and keep working on what you're doing, because you're definitely on the right path. Just be careful with the treatment of this is quite heavy in terms of the noise that's been added to it. It looks quite beautiful in the background, but maybe consider brushing that off the baby itself, because it's quite it's pulling our focus again from what is the baby underneath. So but yeah, certainly the idea of the 3 is a great idea, good concept, keep working on it, but just pull back, just like James said a bit earlier. Sometimes it's about what you don't add to an image.
Great feedback, thank you. All right, thanks, Kat. We'll give you a little break, and we're going to bring back Lacey, and let's have our next image, please.
In Daddy's Arms.
Thank you, judges. We have a score of 74. Emily, can I get a comment from you, please?
I do love the juxtaposition of Sweet Little Baby and Tattooed Arms, and particularly with the narrative that's happening in the in the arm there. Like we've said before, less is sometimes more, and just refining that posing, closing that mouth on the baby look more comfortable, and just considering, the amount of like take off the headdress, take off, some of those things, and have that would elevate it so much further.
Thank you. All right, let's do another quick change. Give Mark a break, and we're going to bring back Faru and have our next image, please.
Muscular dystrophy. Rest between battle.
Thank you, judges. We have a score of 83, a silver award. And you're all in silver, which is fantastic. Actually, we have a challenge from Emily on 86. Go for it.
Okay. I'm hoping I don't have too much work to do here, guys, because I think you're all agreeing that this is an awarded image. We're agreeing that it's been well executed. We're agreeing that there's a strong creative story going on here. It's the caption, right? So we could look at this image and we could read things into it, but we're being told something more about this. The little old dude, like he's a little old man in there, and he's like got a whole battle going on. He's so sweet and he's so innocent. We're getting this lifetime of story in one image. Like that's an old man's hat. Like that's an old man's outfit. This is the choice of what this child is wearing adds impact to what this story is. It's not just a sweet innocent baby. It's the hope of future. It's the hope of all of he's got to come. And I think that this is worth going just that little bit higher to really reward the photographer for that storytelling element in such a simple and articulate way.
All right, thanks, Emily. Naomi, can I get a comment from you on 81?
Yeah, absolutely. This is beautifully posed, the lighting, the focus on those eyelashes, they are just absolutely exquisite. The treatment with highlight and shadows, we've got beautiful balance in there. I think that this is actually a really well executed story and matches well with the title. I held back a little bit, really, because I just felt that the flaccati is actually really heavily textured, and I felt that it actually competed with the baby a little bit. So for me, I just found it a little bit too busy, and that the focus was taken off the subject with the busyness of the texture in the background, which is lovely. But really the baby, I felt sort of was falling into it and yeah, not quite as present in the scene as I would like to have seen. But I'm absolutely listening.
All right, thanks, Naomi. James, would you like to add a comment?
Yep, I had it on 83 at the higher end of silver, purely for the title and the challenging nature of that. What was holding me back was that if I strip away that, if I strip away the title and if I strip away the tube, then we're looking at an image that we're probably as a panel we're going to be talking about. Is it high 70s? Is it silver? That kind of thing. So I was trying to strip it back photographically, and then with Emily's interpretation of the choice of outfit, I realized that it wasn't something that I initially looked on at the outfit and thought that's a bit twee, a little bit cliche, but actually the storytelling and the narrative has helped push me forward, and I think I'll be coming up.
All right, great. Emily, your right of reply.
Thanks, James. Yeah, the flacati doesn't really pull me away because I keep coming back to baby. Baby looks extremely comfortable. Baby does look like it's resting, but it's got a battle. You know, like this, there's a strong story here that's told really simply, and I think it is well worth rethinking.
All right, judges. Emily, if you can keep your score at 86. When you're ready, please re-enter your scores. We have a silver distinction, 85. Great conversation, great feedback for the entrant. Well done. Thank you so much, judges. We might do another quick change here. Thank you, Emily. And we're going to bring back Kat. Let's have our next image, please.
Held by those who love you most.
Thank you, judges. We have a silver award of 80. All right, can I get a comment from Lacey, please?
Yeah, we have such a really beautiful story going on here with all of the interlocking hands, and it just keeps leading me around and around and around the frame. The only thing that would elevate this for me is just the positioning of the hands on the bottom, just being able to bring those wrists in just a teeny bit to mimic the ones on the top, and that would really bring this frame together.
All right, great. Thanks for your feedback. Let's do another quick judge change. Thank you, James. We're going to bring Mark back, and we're ready for our next image, please.
This image has no title.
Thank you, judges. We have a highly commended of 76. And again, you're all really quite close there. Can I get a comment, please, from you, Mark?
Yeah, I've scored this right on 76. It's becoming a theme of like a less is more. There's a lot going on with the headband, the blanket, the teddy, the wrists, the bands. They might be culturally, they might be, they might not be, but either way, it's kind of distracting and pulling your eye away from the image. So nicely captured to frame, but there's a lot going on. So just take a step back.
Okay, great. Thank you for your feedback. All right, let's do another quick change. Thank you, Naomi. And we're going to bring James back. We'll have our next image, please.
Squish.
waiting on one more score from James. Might need to reload your page. Thank you, judges. We have a silver award of 80. Thank you so much. And you're all really quite close there. Lacey, can I get a comment from you, please?
Yeah, what a beautiful squishy bubby we have here. There's some really beautiful cropping going on that just brings us right in there. One thing that would elevate this is just pulling some of the greens out. We have this beautiful olive green color, and it's kind of casting throughout some of that lighting. So balancing that out would elevate this so much more. So well done.
All right, thank you so much. All right, let's do another quick change. Let's bring Emily back on. We'll give Faru a little break. We'll have our next image, please.
A brother's love.
Thank you, judges. We have a highly commended of 76. Mark, you're right on the average there. Can I get a comment from you, please?
Yeah, the concept is right here. Like it's there, but it's kind of you just don't need those arms in the background of the parent holding it back. Like even with the image just cropped out with the hands is stronger instantly. But then I'm waiting for those few frames later where the brother's nose, face, cheek is kissing the baby, and then that's the shot on the inside. So sometimes a little bit of patience and timing.
All right, great feedback. Thank you, Mark. We're going to have a very quick commercial break. Thanks, Daniel.
Wow, photographing the way I do, but with my colors, this will change everything.
I got to see each frame, each position of its wing, and they're so beautiful that I have never seen before.
Being able to move quickly and working at my brain's pace and getting those shots in the moment. Having this camera allows you to go out and create the way you want to create.
Until you use it, you cannot even imagine what you have missed.
It's something I've never seen before in my entire life. It's something totally different.
Nikon Z6 III. Outperform.
Introducing ISO Color Edge. Precision is essential for any professional working with images. Whether you're an artist, a retoucher, or a visual effects specialist, you need to know that what you see at the start of a project is precisely what you'll get at the end. Color Edge monitors give consistent, reliable accuracy that guarantee no surprises within your color workflow. So what you see in real life is what you see on screen, and what you see on screen is what you see in real life. That's precisely why professionals all over the world trust ISO Color Edge for their image creation. ISO Color Edge. Discover living, breathing color.
I'm Mark Rizzetto from the Professional Photography Business Network.
A vibrant community from all around the world who's here to supercharge your business growth.
This is not an expensive one-size-fits-all course.
The PPBN is a network,
An online educational platform with training and resources to suit everyone.
from those just starting out to the seasoned pros.
You can tailor your journey to suit your individual business needs and challenges, all at your own pace.
And there's new content added every week. But success is only part of the experience.
To us, community is super important, as we all know business can be lonely.
So join us today. PPBN is your unfair advantage. Let's do this.
All right, welcome back. We are in the middle of judging the newborn category at the Australian Photographic Prize. And we have an incredible judge panel with us that we are rotating, keeping them fresh in their seats. So I'm just going to say thank you so much to Lacey, and we're going to bring back Naomi and have our next image, please.
One watches, one dreams.
Thank you, judges. We have a silver award of 80. Thank you so much. And can I get a comment, please, from you, Naomi? You're right on the average.
Still having troubles with that mute button. Really beautiful color palette, lovely and simple. Absolutely, I think the minimal props and the really, really soft color palette give enormous strength to these two gorgeous little people. Posing them together like that is just exquisite. It creates such a lovely sense of connection between the two babies. Perhaps to elevate this a little bit more, I'm sure it's actually really, I know it's actually quite difficult, but maybe just refining the babies a little bit more so that you get a sense that they're a little bit more gently connected with each other. The little one on the top feels like perhaps a little bit slumped over the other one. And but lovely, gorgeous sense of connection and beautiful, beautiful story.
Thank you so much. Let's have another quick change here. We are going to let James have a break and bring back Faru, and we'll have our next image, please.
Dreams of playtime.
Thank you, judges. We have a score of 74. And Faru, you're quite close to the average on 73. Can I get a comment, please?
Yes, I think here the lighting is quite well handled. The color palette, it suits the concept of the baby, the dream, and the playtime. However, it seems the face of the baby is really soft and more focused on the toys in the foreground, perhaps considering more focus point on the baby. So definitely the image will develop further.
All right, thank you so much, judges. Excellent feedback. Let's have a quick break with you, Mark, and we are going to bring back Lacey. Next image, please.
Love in every detail.
Thank you, judges. We have a score of 79, a highly commended. Kat, can I get a comment from you, please?
Absolutely. I'm currently, I'm on 82. I was up in the silver. This has been beautifully done. Great communication, great message story going on there, and very precisely handled and delivered to us. So nice tight crop, but enough to fully read the image. And of course, yeah, the placement of that wrap in that heart shape has been very well done.
All right, thank you. Let's do another quick change. I might give you a break, and we're going to bring James back on. Let's have our next image, please.
Everything we hoped for.
Thank you, judges. We have a highly commended of 79. And we have a challenge from Faru on 83. Go for it.
Yeah, I give it solid silver because of the concept and the props and the subtle color palette and the baby boy itself. It's the angel of the family. That's what they hope for. And I think it's presented very, in a very subtle, simple way. There was so much happening, but the photographer managed to keep it very refined. And there are so many details that I can point out for even take it further, but I feel like for all of those, that is already sits on silver.
All right. Thank you, Faru. Can I get a comment from you, please, Lacey? You just need to unmute. Take two.
Just kidding. I was saying that I love the concept of this, and I can see where the photographer is going. What was holding me back is the coloring of the image, actually. I'm not sure if it's a color cast or perhaps the actual post-production. I think it's more so the post-production and how the digital file was actually handled that I think could just be a little bit more refined, and that would actually skyrocket this score for me, is just being able to handle that post-production a little bit better. And it's very, very fixable.
Great feedback. James, you enjoyed this image. You're on 82.
Yeah, I placed it on 82, just a silver award for the strong creative image. And it was more the creative part of that image in terms of as has been pointed out, the use of the prop in the background, giving us a very easy to understand narrative. There is to Lacey's point, there is a color cast, particularly over the skin tones. I think maybe some sort of calibration software to create a color profile that gives us more natural, believable skin tones may have elevated this image further for me. And I believe the quality of light, especially when we start to look around about the nose and just underneath the lips, it's gone very, very dark. Hands have been posed nicely. Have the feet been posed with refinement to elevate us, even further into other levels? Potentially not. I'm listening to both sides on this one, in terms of where to go with the score. But currently, I'm sat on 82, firmly in silver.
All right, thanks, James. Emily, did you want to add something?
I think it's all been covered.
Okay, great, thank you. And Faru, your right of reply, please.
Okay, I think when we talk about the color casting, I feel like it's there. It's a bit of greenish, but I feel like it's coming. It's like the light from the top. It brings some warmth to the baby. To me, it feels like very cinematic. And that's what I feel about it. It's like the start of the family, what they hope. The story begins, da-dun, And that's what I feel about it. And there is so much refinement in the posing. The baby feels very comfortable. I think, James, you are sitting already. I'm not sure you are sitting on a silver, but I feel like you are. I'm not sure about that, but I think like the pose is perfect. The detail is there. The lighting actually, it's very well handled. I don't feel the shadow on the nose is heavy handed. I feel like actually it gives the baby a very like Mona Lisa smile to it. So I feel like this is really cinematic. That's what we wanted as a creative part. And it's really true and honest. The photographer didn't manage to do a lot in post-production. He actually captured it as it is.
Great. Thank you so much for all of your comments and your feedback. Faru, if you could please keep your score at 83, and judges, when you're ready, please re-enter your scores. Thank you, judges. We have gone up 1 point, silver award. I know the entrant will be very, very happy and pleased with that result. Thank you, judges. Let's do another quick judge change. Thank you, Emily. We're going to bring back Mark. Next image, please.
Before we met, we talked.
Thank you, judges. We have a silver award in 82. And we have a challenge from Mark on 88. Go for it.
All right, just getting myself organised. Look, we've seen so many images of newborns over the years. This one is just, it's enough to be changed, to be different, that shows some sort of originality of just a few things that have been handled that I want to point out here. The pose is absolutely spot on. The tonality of the choice of color, the print, the blankets, the silk texture behind, but the texture within the blanket, the smooth texture behind, and then the texture within the blanket. I absolutely love it that it's just twirled up like an umbilical cord, which links that before we meet, we talked. Like in the womb, you talk to the baby all the time. What I really enjoy the most though is the quality of the light. I really enjoy that it's not just light thrown onto the baby. It's hitting. If you do that, you know, that eye squint thing that we're told to do when we're kids, you know, to see what you're looking at. It's almost like you've got this beautiful vignette style, and it just draws your eye straight into that nose, mouth, eyes, and those little hands. I'm really enjoying the image to be something that is really strong concept, and it's done at such a level that I think it deserves a silver distinction. It's ticking all the right boxes.
All right, thank you, Mark. Naomi, you're on 77. Can I get a comment from you, please?
Sure. I completely agree with Mark. I think the storyline with this, with the umbilical cord and the baby, is absolutely beautiful. The posing of the baby is gorgeous. The lighting is really, really, really well done. What actually held me back was that the focus seems to be more on the blanket underneath the baby's bottom, the shoulder at the bottom of the image. And on the foot rather than the baby's face. We really want to see things like those beautiful, just the eyelids and things much sharper than what this image seems to have. There has been a lot of skin softening and things over across, and softening in general, I think, across the whole image, which I don't actually think is necessary, and I feel that doesn't necessarily lift the image particularly. And the only other thing that was really sort of bothering me, there's some really, really deep red tones in between the fingers, visible just in that little hand that's sitting under the cheek there. Just controlling that a little bit better. But totally agree with you, Mark, with respect to the posing and the presentation of the concept, and the lighting is absolutely gorgeous. So I am listening.
Thank you, Naomi. Lacey, you're on 83. You're enjoying this. Can I get a comment?
Yeah, I am. There's so much right with this. I really wanted to go into that silver distinction, and Mark, I'd love to hear from you on this. There's some haloing, it looks like. I don't know if this is part of the vignetting or because I think the vignetting is perfect, but it for me highlights that there's just a teeny bit of a halo that is going up where that wrap is, the umbilical cord. And the other thing that has kept me in that solid silver range is the skin tones of the baby are uneven. The hands are a different color than the face, and I'd really love to see those skin tones evened out so it's all one color. But I've talked me up because I really want to come up with you.
All right, judges, thank you. Mark, your right of reply, please.
Fantastic. So there's lots that we love about this image. Lots that we love. In response to Naomi, with your comments to start with, focusing on the eyelids. The eyelashes, there are none, just at all, to focus on in the first place, because there just are none on this particular baby. I think the focus point, it doesn't get me to look directly down at the blanket or the toes. I think there is a bit of an even plane. Slightly, you could be like really technical on the blankets, probably a little bit more, but in terms of the plane, it's pretty straight on. And being so soft, the softness of this is the reason why it carries the story as well, that it's quite muted on purpose. I think that there's not a lot of texture in a lot of it, apart from getting that texture from the blanket, and that's where it kind of brings into the softness of it all. In terms of the vignette, Lacey, I'm on my particular screen, without being a print, I'm struggling to see that because I can't see it on my screen for whatever reason. But in terms of the direction and how it's been handled, there's a lot to love about this image. Love to see it get up into that silver distinction just to get an extra few points for this photographer.
All right, thanks, Mark. We're currently sitting on a score of 82. If you could keep your score at 88, when you're ready, judges, please re-enter your scores. We've gone up 1 point in 83, and every point does count, and I know the photographer will be very grateful for all of that feedback. Thank you, judges. All right, let's do another quick change here. Let's give Naomi a break, and we are going to bring back Emily and have our next image, please.
Home.
Thank you, judges. We have a highly commended score of 77. Lacey, can I get a comment from you, please?
Yeah, baby's first portrait. The light has been handled beautifully in this. One thing that would elevate this is just to crop in just a little bit. Baby is the main focus here. And so just kind of bringing in that corner to crop out dad in some of mom's head will really bring us that much closer to baby and his or her first portrait.
Great feedback, thank you. Do another quick change here. Thanks, Faru. And Kat, if you would come back. Next image, please. Right.
Nap time, little one.
Thank you, judges. We have a highly commended score of 77. Emily, you're on 76. Can I get a comment, please?
I'm sitting around that average. Baby has been handled beautifully, posed well. Baby looks comfortable and sweet. Consider your cropping. Consider what we leave in and out of the frame. We could go in tight. We could go in round. We could pull back a little bit and give a bit more of that. The bottom of the chair. There's a bit of conflict happening there, and it just sits a bit uneasily. And in such a sweet and quiet moment, you don't want to be jarred with that kind of thing, and that would elevate it.
Thank you so much, Emily. All right, let's give Lacey a quick break and we'll bring Naomi back and we'll have our next image, please.
Metronome.
Thank you, judges. We have a silver award, 83. And we have a challenge from Emily on 88. Go for it.
Okay. This is a beautiful, I'm speaking, obviously, it's a beautiful image. We all think it's award worthy. I would like to point out the finesse of this image and this pose, and that we're kind of second guessing ourselves. Like, is that the same baby? Right? Like, we know it's twins, right? But it's like, it's so the same child. Like, it's so obviously these identical little twin humans here. But it's that mimic of pose. It's the left and the right marries in beautifully with each side. Like, it marries in beautifully, and we're brought in. It doesn't bother me that right-hand side is a little bit heavier on the right-hand side of background, because we keep getting brought back in. It is the finesse of this image is worth going just that little bit higher, I think. And I want to hear why you haven't.
All right, let's get a comment from you, Kat.
Yeah, thanks, Emily. I'm definitely listening. I'm on 83, so I'm as you said, undoubtedly an award image. Can you just help me resolve the sort of haloing? Something weird's going on the right-hand side. There's like a dark line that's sort of tracing right around the back and leg of that baby that I found a bit distracting, given that everything else has been so beautifully done and carefully done. Yeah, that pulled me away, and the fold in the baby's on the left in their bow was a little bit distracting as well. But I'm absolutely listening. It's been yeah, expertly handled. These babies have been handled very, very well. This isn't always easy to achieve with one baby, let alone two right in next to each other. So yeah, this image has impact and is beautiful. So I am listening and I'm prepared to move. But yeah, do help me with that little bit there.
All right, thanks, Kat. James, can I get a comment from you, please? You're on 83.
Yeah. Yeah, right in the middle of that silver range. I'm listening to what everyone said. Anne Geddes has an awful lot to answer for with her brand of photography back in the 90s. And barely a competition goes by where we don't see a frog pose. This one, the frog pose here has actually been done really, really nicely. And what I really appreciate about the image is the control of the yellows. This is a difficult color to control in photography, and it's done really, really well. I echo what Kat says, not only about the haloing on the right hand side, but the haloing around the left legs and some of the elements that have been done there to blend multiple images in together, potentially to ensure that this pose has been done in a safe way, which I commend the photographer for. To Emily's point of that little space on the right and the crop and things like that potentially could be changed to refine the image. Silver with Distinction states that there is a highly refined and elevated execution. And I just think we're just missing those elements of refinement to bring it into the next level. If you can help me that, I'll be willing to move. Thank you.
All right, Emily, your right of reply, please.
Oh, making me work for it. Okay. For those reasons around the yellow, I'm definitely giving it that credit because it's such a difficult color to handle and to keep those skin tones looking so comfortable. Yes, I do notice those slight haloing and things probably in the safe processing of creating an image like this. There's been a few things maybe missed in post-production, but that doesn't take away from the skill and the craft. And we're talking about the skill level involved in creating an image like this in post-production with the skin tones and the handling of the color, and in the execution of creating this safe, beautiful image. I think it's, maybe I'm pushing it to go up, guys, but I think it's definitely worth considering going up an extra couple of points because every point does matter for these entrants. And yeah, come with me.
All right, thank you, judges. We're currently sitting at a score of 83. Emily, if you could leave your score at 88, and when you're ready, judges, please re-enter your scores. And we have gone up a point to 84, a very solid silver. Thank you, judges. All right, let's have a quick break for you, James, and we are going to bring back Faru. And let's have our next image, please.
The Littlest Snowman.
Thank you, judges. We have a silver award, an 84. And we have a challenge from Faru on 92. Go for it.
Yes, I give it gold. And because as soon as I saw it, I just laughed. And I loved the whole expression of the baby. And it looks like the baby is a snowman and it's in the snow. And I love that little hat. I love all these little things that shows the snow and the snowman. I think like there is a subtle refinement in everything, the color palette, the pose, the expression of the baby, everything is super cute. And I cannot give it gold with this super cute image. So I'm listening, you guys.
All right, thanks, Faru. Kat, you're on 84. Can I get a comment?
I am, and I'm sitting here laughing away too. It's so cute. I feel exactly the same. I'm just trying to figure out if that's alone is enough for me to go up into gold, but I'm definitely empathizing with you. I feel that, and I did the same thing. I laughed and kind of went, oh, and I really want to get in and squeeze this kids' cheeks. My God, these delicious, overflowing, full, smushy cheeks are beautiful. So I'm on 84 at the moment in the silver range. Clearly, I'm thinking about moving up, which is why I'm on 84. I'm happy to listen and move up into the next range for sure. I guess for me, what might have held me back a little bit was probably just the heavy retouching that I feel like I'm seeing. But if I'm wrong, let me know. And also just I couldn't quite resolve on the right hand side of the baby. It looks like there's some focati texture going on there, but the rest of the wrap isn't. So I was just trying to figure out, what's going on there, if anyone can help me with that. But overall, this is a beautifully done image, and I'm definitely already happy to move up into silver with distinction, and I'm listening to potentially go further than that. A really strong piece of communication, beautifully, expertly handled.
All right, thanks, Kat. Emily, you're on 78.
Yeah, I'll admit that I was probably a little harsh, but I'm feeling the same queries that Kat's feeling in some of the handling in post-production. I feel like we're losing bits in the whites down the bottom there, and like detail. We want to see some detail. We know it's snow, right? But replicating snow, and there's some sort of cast kind of happening up in that top part of the frame, which just isn't marrying for me throughout the image. Like, is it giving depth, or is it it's not sitting right? And I feel like there's just been a bit of work done around the top of that hat, which is just poor. I mean, we're talking about fine little details here, and I'll admit that I've been harsh, but when we're talking gold, those tiny little details are really going to make all of the difference. But I get it; it brings a smile to my face. I think it's a stunning little image of a great little cherub here, but when we're talking gold, I really need those things resolved for me.
All right. Faru, your right of reply, please.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. I feel like we talk about just very little details, and I feel like we all really agree it's a strong piece of communication, as Catherine said. And also, I feel like the concept is there, and the concept is melting baby in the snow. And that's what I love about it. So we have, when we think about the gold, outstanding image showing excellence in silence, in a concept, which is a very cute concept and very strong. And the craft, it's very well posed. You talk about the texture. Actually, when I zoom in, I feel like I can see the texture. Even I can see the blushes in the right side, the bit of the hair, the hand has its lots of details there. I think the softening is quiet, well handled, maybe could be better for more texture, but I think like the overall image is very soft, and I feel like the softness coming to the image, to the skin by tension. About the hat at the top, when I zoom in, I feel like the choice of lens creates such a beautiful depth of shallow, and we can see it from the top to the bottom of the hat. The hat by itself is not perfect, and we have the ability of make it perfect. Photographer perhaps didn't make decision to go to that much perfection. We are like, I feel like we are really pixel picky. That Amber said that once, and I love that word. So in gold area, we when we talk about gold, we have everything here, but we can still forgive some of the very details. So that's the reason I gave it gold, and I believe it's gold.
All right, judges, thank you so much. Faru, if you can keep your score of 92 where it is, we're currently sitting on a score of 84, please re-enter your scores. Thank you, judges. We now have a silver with distinction at 86. Every point counts, and I'm sure the entrant will be very grateful for all of that feedback and your scores. All right, let's do another quick change. Let's Thank you, Mark. We're going to bring back Lacey and have our next image, please.
Dreaming in colour.
All right, our judges, as you have noticed, are looking slightly off camera. So that means that they are viewing these images on their calibrated monitors, so they get to see all the detail. And they've already mentioned a couple of times that they're pixel picking, and that is exactly right. They have the ability to zoom into 100% when they are looking at these images. So they see them at normal screen size, and then they can click their button once, which gives them 100% resolution. But they can't zoom in any further than that. So they get to see the actual image at its full capacity, which is fantastic. Thank you, judges. We have a silver award, 82, and you're all so close. Kat, you're right on 82. Can I get a comment, please?
Absolutely. This is a beautiful image. I'm really enjoying the vibrancy, the color choices, gorgeous little sleeping baby there, styled quite well. And I also really enjoyed the fact that it's not in a, to my eye, it's not in a studio, but it's sort of got this really nice balance of organic and studio and yeah, I thought that worked very well. So nice immediate impact with the color punch. Yeah, maybe perhaps to go up, maybe a slight vignette, but certainly worthy of the silver award it's gotten.
Amazing, thank you. All right, we might give you a quick break, bring Mark back, and let's have our next image, please.
Held.
Thank you, judges. We have a score of 77, are highly commended. And Lacey, you're right on the average. Can I get a comment, please?
Yeah, what a sweet little Bubba we have here. The posing has been done really well here. One thing that I would encourage the photographer to watch is just when you're cleaning up skin, there's some very clear circling of where there's been some blemishes. It's been kind of cloned out, and it's quite obvious. So just making sure that we're going in and refining some of those edges to make sure that it's blending into the skin really well. Otherwise, what a beautiful bub and well-handled image.
Thank you so much. All right, let's have another quick judge change. Thank you, Emily. And we're going to bring James back. Next image, please.
Born of the earth.
Thank you, judges. We have a silver award in 83, and we have a challenge from Mark on 91. Go for it.
In the words of Faru, so damn cute. This image came when it came up. It like the immediate impact of this is really strong for so many reasons. The color palette is just absolutely stunning. Those golden brown tones with that little hint of green and those little purple and yellow flowers down the that are down the bottom are beautifully just they just balance themselves. That golden green tinge up the top just makes it so it's not so flat. It's not a boring flat image. The timber, normally it's just a baby in a basket, but in this case, the timber hands of the title, born of the earth, sitting in earth, made from timber, stunning, brilliant. And then bringing into the baby, the pose is so chunky and chubby, and it's a really hard way to pose a baby sitting somewhat half upright, lying down, but also in a wrap. And all those fingers and arms and toes are just placed beautifully, and yet the baby's just really well relaxed. The focus is in all the good points and just the softness of the image. I think the photographer has really created something outstanding in concept and craft and quality. It's really powerful image, and yeah, I'd love this to be printed, but that's another awards.
Thank you, Mark. Lacey, you are sitting at 82. Can I get a comment, please?
Yeah, I agree everything with what you said, Mark. For me, the wooden hand is beautiful, but everything is on the same horizontal plane, as in the height of the baby is the same height as the fingers, like the actual chair. Maybe this was me being a bit pedantic or harsh, but I would have liked to have seen some vertical distance between the two, or some height differentiation, just to add a little bit more visually into the frame. So baby isn't sitting at the same height as what that hand is, but I also recognize that such a unique prop like this was probably not found easily or sourced. So yeah, that's kind of why I'm sitting with where I'm sitting, but I'm definitely listening because I agree this is a very, very beautiful and well handled image.
Thank you, Lacey. Naomi.
I'm sitting quite strongly in silver. This is absolutely a strong and creative image with clear strengths in concept, technique, or impact, according to the definition of the silver category. The photographer has created a lovely balance between creative posing using a lovely, unique prop and a secure, natural presentation of the baby too, so we don't get a sense that the baby's unsafe in any way or with any level of discomfort. It's got lovely originality. I think what's held me out of the silver with distinction is creating a little bit more connection. We've got those beautiful little pops of green with the leaves, which are gorgeous. And to have those kind of perhaps maybe somewhere else in the frame as well, just to continue that color theme, and maybe even considering putting this into a circular or oval crop as well would actually add to that organic feeling. But yeah, I'm listening. I'm certainly in silver, and I am happy to come up a little bit. So happy to continue the conversation.
All right, Mark, your right of reply, please.
Okay. So some key words that you guys have just said just here. Unique and lovely originality, which is all definitely in the gold area. The subtle without distraction, I'm going to say, Lacey. If the hands were covering the baby, it's too, it's too obvious. It's too kind of matter of fact. It's like, it's going to the extreme. We've spoken a lot about tonight that the less is more. So if you put it in a circle mat, Naomi, as well, it's going to lose that longevity of the fingers and the feeling of that cup. And it doesn't need any more elements to be simple and beautiful with lots of control. Any other elements in there would just take away and distract it. So it's placed really well. You've all said positive things. It's at 83. at least sneak it into that silver distinction if you don't have the heart for gold, but that's what I believe it sits.
All right, thank you, judges. Thank you, Mark. If you could please keep your score at 91 and you can re-enter your scores. Our judges have a scoring criteria. So Mark just mentioned a couple of words there. So when they place an image within a scoring range, it has a category and a description which help them to score the image. All right, thank you, judges. We have a score of 84. We have gone up a point, and every point does count.
Oh, my mic's on.
Thank you very much. Let's do another quick judge change here, please. We do. Thank you, Naomi. Let's bring back Kat, and let's have our next image, please.
Held in light.
Thank you, judges. We have a score of 74. James, you're right on the average there. Can I get a comment?
Absolutely. We're just falling short of the highly commended range, and there's a few refinements that we can make to this challenging pose, and it is a challenging pose that we're trying to achieve here with a newborn baby. We need to take care in terms of the hand placement of the adults in the frame to make sure that we're not bending back ears as we have done here with the pose. We have to make sure of our quality of light across the subject is even and is well distributed. This can be achieved by using a slightly bigger modifier and by feathering the light from behind slightly to give us an almost rim lighting effect. That means less light's going to fall on your backdrop, you're going to get less spill, but you're going to get a much more defined light across the baby and across the hands. You can also place a reflector on the floor, which is going to bounce a little bit of light back into those arms, which means that those arms, the adult arms that are holding the baby, aren't going to drop into blues and into darker tones. They're going to be more even lit across the whole way. To elevate it into the highly commended, we need to pick a point in time where this baby is ideally fully asleep. And that's just going to take time, unfortunately. When you're shooting newborns day to day, sometimes they can come along and they've just had a long car journey, or they've just been well fed and they're ready to go straight away. Sometimes you have to wait a few hours. And unfortunately, in this instance, we're just between sleeping and awaking. So if we can be a little bit more patient, give it a little bit more time, pay a little bit more attention to the lighting, then we can look to elevate this simple concept into highly commended, and then you can start putting your own take on it and moving it into the levels above.
All right. Thank you, James, for your feedback. Let's give Faru a quick break, bring Emily back, and have our next image, please.
Our part.
Thank you, judges. We have a highly commended score of 78. Lacey, can I get a comment from you, please?
Yeah, what a really...
Oh, sorry, hang on one moment. We have Kat waving at us. Kat is on 81 in the silver range and is going to challenge this image. So we might come back to you in a second, Lacey. So take it away, Kat.
Apologies, Lacey, sorry. I'd love for us to talk about this, certainly to give the photographers some more feedback as well. I do think this is worthy of a silver award. I think this is a really nice piece of communication. This photographer's telling us a story, with these hands, and, the mother, the father, and then everyone together. I think that's quite effective. It's been done very well overall. It's quite impactful when it first comes around. I appreciate that there are some issues, and I'd love to hear what's holding you back. But I do think it's worthy of a silver, and I'd love to, have a chat about this one and sit with it a little bit longer and see what we can do.
All right. So let's go back to you, Lacey, for a comment. You're on 78.
Yeah, thank you.
Maybe Lacey is not meant to comment on this image. She's just frozen there. So what we're going to do is go for a comment from James, please.
Thank you very much for challenging Katrina. What was I'll cut straight to it just in case we can go back to Lacey.
Compose.
There she is.
Hey, oh, did we lose at me? Sorry. This has been
you froze.
It's been composed.
So, let's just go back to the very beginning here. Obviously, this is not a situation that we deal with on a regular basis, but we did have a slight little drop out there of internet connection. Lacey didn't get to share her feedback, but let's take two and get you to provide your feedback, and then we'll go back to James, and then we'll go back to Kat for a right of reply. Thanks, Lacey.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was just saying that this has been captured so well, but what has kept me out of that silver range is that we have 3 separate images, and the colorings of the baby is actually different in each of the 3 different images. And for me, even just by taking the extra couple of minutes to even that coloring out would definitely bring me up into that silver range. But I'm really listening because the concept here is really creative and captured very well.
All right, thank you, Lacey. James.
Okay, so this idea of holding, by the way, I'm in highly commended. This idea of holding the baby with hands on a black background. Okay, we see it a lot of times, and we always say you need to do something different to elevate it into the next level. Okay, and this is an attempt to do something different to elevate it to the next level, placing 3 items in a panoramic. Okay, I understand the story. I understand there are 2 parents involved. I understand the fact that we've put the arms coming down in the middle because they're different from the ones either side. Okay, so the ones either side anchor it. Okay, and I understand that one of the parents together is at the end because we're telling the story 1, 2, 3 as we go along. I just feel that the image of them together should be in the middle, should be the showcase with everything else either side. And I feel that the narrative and the flow of it just falls out of balance. And that, in combination with Lacey's feedback in terms of lighting and color, was what was holding me back from going into silver. But I, once again, ears open, listening. Let's see if we can move me.
All right, back to you, Kat, for a right of reply, please.
Yeah, thanks everyone. I really appreciate the discussion, as will the photographer. Yeah, James, I appreciate what you're saying, and yes, that would absolutely work as well. No doubt about it. But for me, it's like visually, I think that would have equal impact, if not more. But I think telling the story from left to right also is a very conscious decision that's been made, and it has been done with intent. So we're showing each on their own, and then they come together. So that's also, it's a strong piece of communication. I think this piece is well worthy of coming up into the award range, and I think having the repetition, the very quite strong repetition of the baby's pose, is also really clever because we don't get lost in the baby in that sense. Like we can see the baby, it's doing basically the same thing in every photo, and that really helps to draw our attention to the hands and to look closely at those and to read into the story. So I do think there's a level of sophistication here that absolutely is worthy of a silver award. If you guys would consider, now that you've had a chance to have another look at it, would you consider coming up into the silver range for those reasons?
All right, thank you, judges. If you can keep your score at 81, Kat, and when you're ready, please re-enter your scores. We have gone up a point, 79, but great feedback, and as Kat said, extremely beneficial to have these conversations for the entrant. All right, let's do another quick change here. Thank you, Lacey. And let's bring back Naomi and have our next image, please.
Curiosity.
Thank you, judges. We have a highly commended score of 77. And Mark, you're right on the average. Can I get a comment, please?
Yeah, I scored this as 77. It's a nice, beautiful little captured image. Just to elevate it into that silver range, just look at the focus of what you want us to see. At the moment, the focus is on the band, not on the eyes and the face. And just take more care with the wrapping. It's just the shape of how you've positioned the baby. And then on the right hand side, the blanket's a little bit muddled up. Everything else is so smooth around the baby, and that right corner at 4 o'clock is just a bit clumpy. So just a few finessing tips in there.
All right, great feedback. Thank you. Let's do another quick judge change. Thank you, Mark. And we're going to bring back Faru, and let's have our next image, please.
3 little dreamers side by side.
Thank you, judges. We have a silver award and 80. All right, and you are all really quite close there. James, can I get a comment for... Actually, Emily, I might get a comment from you, please.
Hit the comment button. Okay, look, kudos to the photographer. 3 sleeping babies all at once. Well done. Just a few little things to finesse it to bring it even higher. Just think about, your shaping and around the foot area there. It's just pulling us away from that real connection that's happening up a bit higher. Just tweak some tiny little things, although I give you credit. It's hard to get 3 of them all doing what you want them to do. And consider maybe another tone, black and white, things like that would just bring us right in a little bit more and tell us that story. Congratulations.
All right, thank you, Emily. Let's do another quick judge change here. Thank you, James. And let's bring back Lacey, and we'll have our next image, please.
This image has no title.
Thank you, judges. We have a highly commended score of 77, and you are all pretty much right there on the average. Faru, can I get a comment from you, please?
Yes, of course. I think the posing is really well handled here. The color palette, it suits the warmest and the dreamy feeling of the image. To elevate this image, I feel like the focal point or the sharpness of the image in the right side of the bed, and compared to the face of the baby. And also, I think like the background by itself is a bit dominant and distracting, and take away all attention to the beauty and cuteness of the center of the image. Yeah, well done.
All right, thanks, Faru. We might give Kat a quick break, bring Mark back, and we will have our next image, please.
1. Warmth.
Thank you, judges. We have a highly commended score of 79. And we have a challenge from Lacey on 83. Go for it.
Yeah, I'm sitting here in silver and I just need one. We have some really beautiful lighting coming in from the left. We've got two gorgeous bubs that have been very intentionally posed, and they've been posed well. And I really just want to commend the photographer on nailing this posing. And yeah, I think this has been done exceptionally well. And so I want to listen to my fellow judges and see what they have to say as well. So.
All right. Well, you're all pretty close here. So I might get a comment, if I can, from Naomi first. You're on 77.
Sure. Yeah, I totally agree with you, Lacey. The photographer has absolutely nailed the posing of these babies. It is beautiful. Sharpness is there. Lighting is lovely and soft. The tonal range is gorgeous. Perhaps what could have lifted it a little bit for me is that I felt that because the focus of the babies is in far part of the image, but depth of field, the closest part of the image is actually out of focus. So we've got Bub's little feet, which are really, really sweet. And they're out of focus, except that they're the closest thing to us. And so perhaps maybe even cropping the image a little bit so that we've literally just got a chest up portrait of these two together might strengthen it a bit. But yeah, I'm really happy to hear some other suggestions from other photographers.
All right, Emily, can I get a comment from you, please?
Yeah, I'm glad we can actually have a chat about this because I was dancing around the silver as well, Lacey. And partly I want to commend, okay, we're told all of these things not to do. Don't photograph from the bum up towards baby's face, right? But it actually doesn't really bother me because the babies just the faces keep drawing us back in. The bottom part of the image does lead us back in. It would be much stronger without it. It would be much stronger with just the little faces. And I am getting pulled, which is what held me. I am getting pulled by the detail in the blanket over on the right hand side, and a little bit of conflict around the focal point. I sort of want that right hand eyelid to be, or eyeline to be in focus, but it's not. So I was sort of held back, but I definitely am listening. I'm really close to coming up, and yeah.
All right, thank you, Emily. Mark, you're in silver on 81. Can I get a comment from you, please?
Yeah, I put this as a silver for all the reasons that Lacey said. Normally this is a no-go zone of photographing, and I think this photographer's pulled it off really well. It's got just enough tone and lines going into all the right places to see the face. So definitely rewarding the photographer. I'm at 81, happy to go to 82.
All right, thank you, judges. Your right of reply, please, Lacey.
Yeah, just to address that blanket, you have one bub that is being posed vertically and then another bulb that's being posed horizontally. And so because of that, and because the focus is on the baby's face, that plane, that blanket is also on the same plane of which the baby's face is, which is why that blanket is on that right side is more in focus. So that, yes, it can kind of, be considered distracting, but when we're looking at it from a technical standpoint of photography, it kind of is what it is. And yeah, it could perhaps benefit from a crop, just bringing it in from that right-hand corner. And look, yes, you could crop off the feet as well as that right side of the blanket and just be left with bubs' faces. But then we lose that cute bum. And isn't that what we're all so obsessed with as photographers and parents, are babies' bums? And so then we would lose that, and we don't want to do that. So come on up to silver. I think we can get there. I'd really love to commend this photographer for a job well done, and on posing one baby vertically and one baby horizontally. We don't always get to see that. So yeah.
All right, judges. Lacey, if you could please keep your score at 83, and when you're ready, please re-enter your scores. Thank you, judges. We have a solid silver at 82. Great conversation, great discussion and feedback for the entrant. And that is our last image of the category. What an incredible group of images that we have seen in the newborn category for the Australian Photographic Prize. Amazing work. Congratulations to all of the entrants. It really is so fantastic to see your work and to see you actually submit them for competition. It is the best classroom in the world to get to listen to the wealth of knowledge and experience from all of our judges. So I just want to say a huge thank you tonight, or this morning if you're in the UK like me, and James, to our panel, which includes Emily Black, Faru Yavari, James Musselwhite, Katrina Ferguson, Lacey Barrett, Mark Rosetto and Naomi Ryder. Thank you to our online audience as well for tuning in and joining us to celebrate the excellence of this category and photography as a whole. And don't forget, please join us for the awards ceremony on Thursday, the 13th of August, for the announcement of the winners. Thank you again to everyone, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Goodbye.
Wow, photographing the way I do, but with my colors, this will change everything.
I got to see each frame, each position of its wing, and they're so beautiful that I have never seen before.
Being able to move quickly and working at my brain's pace and getting those shots in the moment. Having this camera allows you to go out and create the way you want to create.
Until you use it, you cannot even imagine what you have missed.
It's something I've never seen before in my entire life. It's something totally different.
Nikon Z6 III. Outperform.
Introducing ISO Color Edge. Precision is essential for any professional working with images. Whether you're an artist, a retoucher, or a visual effects specialist, you need to know that what you see at the start of a project is precisely what you'll get at the end. Color Edge monitors give consistent, reliable accuracy that guarantee no surprises within your color workflow. So what you see in real life is what you see on screen. And what you see on screen is what you see in real life. That's precisely why professionals all over the world trust ISO ColorEdge for their image creation. ISO ColorEdge. Discover living, breathing color.
I'm Mark Rosetto from the Professional Photography Business Network.
A vibrant community from all around the world who's here to supercharge your business growth.
This is not an expensive one-size-fits-all course.
PPBN is a network,
An online educational platform with training and resources to suit everyone.
from those just starting out to the seasoned pros.
You can tailor your journey to suit your individual business needs and challenges, all at your own pace.
And there's new content added every week. But success is only part of the experience.
To us, community is super important as we all know business can be lonely.
So join us today. PPBN is your unfair advantage. Let's do this.